All right. Okay. Let's do this. Talking Nets, episode 114. Let me retweet this so people can come through and kick it with us. Let's see. Someone goes, Kevin Love, FF, for fuck's sake, why? I said, pull up and we'll talk about it. That's great. Great. All right. Let's do this. You guys know how this goes. We told you we'd be back once a week on Tuesday afternoons, night into Wednesday, and we're about to record the podcast. So I will count us in and we'll do that. What's up, Jared in the chat? Luis, Andrew, Ryan. See y'all. Hudson Flynn, Keith McPherson joining you here on Tuesday, July 6th after the holiday break. And we're not going to talk too much Nets because the Nets aren't playing. But we'll talk about the NBA, talking basketball. Here we go. Let me make sure I'm recording on my end. I am. I think Hudson is good. Can I hear Hudson? Hudson, say something, anything.
Something, anything. There we go. I just realized I have my mic on mute. Usually it's not my fault. Usually Keith's headphones stop working or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. But we're good. All right, let's run it in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Talking Nets, episode 114. We're not going to talk too much about the Nets because they're not playing. Let me start that over because I didn't do that good at all. I already messed up my words. See, you're live and you get the behind the scenes stuff. I try to do this in one take.
See this on the edit version.
It shouldn't be that hard, but I got to think about what we're talking about and what I'm going to say. Okay, ready, go. Talking Nets, episode 114. We're not going to talk too much about the Nets because they're on break, vacation, off season, but it's NBA Finals time, so of course we'll talk about that. Then we have to speak on Maria Taylor and Rachel Nichols. I'm sure you've all heard enough about it in the last 2-3 days. Kevin Love says he wants to come to Brooklyn. Shocker. And we'll speak a little bit about Team USA. Keith McPherson, Hudson Flynn, Talking Nets. Let's get it. Can you hear my headphones? Probably not. So that's just the intro playing. And then I bring us back in and I say, yes, sir. Welcome back to Talking Nets, episode 114. Keith McPherson and Hudson Flynn joining you on Tuesday, July 6th, a little bit after 1 o'clock. I'm on my lunch break. And we're going to talk about the Nets. We're going to talk about the NBA. We're talking basketball. Hudson Flynn, can you say hello to the people?
Man, what is up, everybody? Another week, another episode of Talking Nets, a.k.a. Talking Basketball. But, man, it's still a weird feeling having this much space between episodes, not having Nets games to talk about. But luckily, we still have NBA news to talk about with you. We have the finals. We even have a little bit of some Kevin Love Nets-related news. A little teaser for later in the episode. But nah, Keith, I'm doing well. I'm doing good. Recording this on Tuesday, July 6th, my little sister's birthday today, so I got to give her a happy birthday. I am here alone in Maine in a hotel room where she is out celebrating her birthday. But Talking Nets has to come first, above all things, family included, and that's all because Keith makes me record. No matter what. Earth, wind, or fire. No matter what happens, Keith has me on the podcast grind. So here we are, Talking Nets.
Wait, you have to clear some things up. First off, how old is your sister? How old is she turning?
She just turned 15.
Okay, she just
Halfway to
turned
30.
15. Why are you in a hotel room alone while she's out partying, celebrating right now?
Because we have Talking Nets, Keith. I said, hey man, I know, we did this whole season, but it's the summer, it's the finals. There's not that much news. It's my sister's birthday. I'm on vacation. Is there any way I could get a day off? And Keith said, no, absolutely not. Talking Nets is the
No, I
grind. Talking
didn't.
Nets is all we do. This
No,
is
I
the only
didn't.
priority you're allowed to have
No, I
at
did
this
not say that.
company.
No, this guy is committed. He's committed to Talking Nets. He's committed to his role. He's committed to the podcast and the social media. But I did not say that. I said, hey, man, if you're in Maine, we don't have to push it. If you're out doing something family related, trust me, I get it. We just had the 4th of July weekend. But like I said, he's committed to the craft. Happy birthday to your sister. What's your sister's name? I've never met your sister. I don't even know about your sister.
Her name is Lucia, big Italian name.
Lucia, happy birthday to you. We'll give you Big Bro back in like 30 minutes or less. We got to talk about some stuff. We've got some people in the chat. What's up in the chat? These are NBA fans. These are Nets fans. And these are Talking Nets fam. And we know we got to come through like we said we were going to do. And Hudson has stood by that. He didn't say, on this first one, I'm going to opt out. We're here. So let's do it. And let's start off talking about what you did this past weekend. I'll lead off. It was a great 4th of July weekend. It felt like we're back. It felt like regular stuff. It felt like we're doing what we're supposed to. Barbecues and beers and pools and family linking up and seeing people. For some people I saw this weekend was the first time I've seen them since 2019. So good vibes, good energy. Tried not to pay too much attention to the Yankees. What else? Yeah. Saw some fireworks in Jersey City. It was magical. I felt great being, right in Jersey City, looking at the river, seeing all the fireworks from Brooklyn, New York, America. We back. Team America. We did it. Hudson Flynn, what were you up to this weekend?
Man, so like I said, I'm up here in Maine. This is actually my first time visiting Maine, and we'd never gone up here, but I didn't expect it to be so cold. We came up for the 4th of July weekend, and it was damn near 45 degrees outside, and that was not something that I was expecting. I thought just because it was the summer, it would stay warm, and it's warmed up a little bit. But man, it was a chilly 4th of July weekend. We were out looking at fires over the Atlantic Ocean, and I had a coat on, I had pants on, I had shoes on. It was like a whole thing. It was not quite the same, beach pool party that you would expect for the 4th of July, but man, I'm having a good time. I like it up here. It's pretty. The air is nice. It's the one thing I don't miss when I come home from New York City. I spend most of my time down in the Bronx. Is the fresh air, man. I'll tell you, the air does smell different. You get used to breathing in all the subway exhaust fumes, and I live on a Metro North line, so I get all those fumes.
And
when you get up,
and the homeless people body odor.
Yeah, when you get that fresh air, it's something nice. It's something different. But we're back. We're gonna enjoy our vacation, but it's back to the grind. So I'm happy to be back talking Nets.
Yeah, you are in Maine. It's pretty far north. I've never been up there, but I assume it's cold most of the year. And yeah, this weekend started off Friday, shitty weather. Saturday, still raining. Low temperatures. Put a hoodie on, put a jacket on. Why do we live in the Northeast where we can't even enjoy our holidays? It rained all Memorial Day weekend, and the first half of the 4th of July weekend, it rained. But then we got Sunday and we got Monday, salvaged it. Good weather today. Hope you guys are all enjoying it. Hope you guys are all with family and friends and not stressed out about the Nets. Honestly, I'm planning a wedding right now where I realize the universe was not ready for a healthy big three, and I was not ready for the Nets to go all the way to the finals, because I would have been covering that. I would have been at games and trying to, get to the finish line with my wedding that my wife and I are planning and executing ourselves. But then I also do Yankees coverage on Pinstripe Strong. So it would have been a ton of stuff. We're going to the All-Star game next week. Like, something had to give, and what gave was the Nets not getting all the way there. But we'll go into our lead net, the guy that led us all the way to Game 7, Kevin Durant and Team USA. They're in Vegas. I'm sure you guys saw the videos, the flicks. Dame out there, Tatum out there, Bam out there. Hudson, did you see that Team USA is starting to come together? There's been some other, there's been some competition. There's been some games between other countries. I know you probably saw Luka. I know you probably saw RJ Barrett. But did you see that Team USA is forming Voltron in Vegas, and they're ready to do this Summer Olympics 2021?
I love it. I'll tell you, though, the only thing I'm missing is James Harden being on that team. Obviously, we saw that he was going to be there, and then he opted out. Obviously, he had the hamstring injury that was holding him back in the playoffs. Them, loading up, getting ready to go in Vegas. I would have loved to see some of the videos that would have emerged from him partying out in Vegas with the rest of the Team USA boys. Maybe some more iconic photos like that old the airplane photo and the video with Melo singing, like what's that, like the 1,000 Miles song. But
Melo was not singing it. He was looking at everybody else.
Oh, he was looking at everybody else. I forget who was
looking at everybody else. It was it DeRozan?
It was DeRozan. I know Kyrie was singing. That was something I was surprised. That was back when Kyrie still, was having fun as a young 20-something. He was singing along too. I loved it, but I guess it wasn't Melo. I know Melo was a part of it though. I guess he was the one that was looking a little off to everybody.
Like, I don't know the words to this song, and I don't know why these brothers are singing it right now. But yeah, Team USA together. Obviously, they're going for the gold. They've got enough guys that can compete and get there and help them, get to the final goal of hoisting the gold medal, whatever. I think it's a foregone conclusion that Team USA should win it all. And it's funny, we're talking about the Olympics. Last episode of Talkin Nets, we spoke on what we were excited about with this upcoming Olympics. And I know this isn't basketball talk, but it came up in the news a lot this week. We spoke on one, Sha'carri Richardson from Texas, went to LSU, 21 years old. Her mom passed this past year, and she tested positive for marijuana. She tested positive, and now she can't compete in Tokyo. It's unfortunate. It's a stupid rule. It's kind of old, but it's a world game. These are global games. The world is not America. And our worldview as Americans a lot of times is distorted. And we think because we're progressive over here or it's legal over here and laws have changed and perception around marijuana and really athletes smoking marijuana has changed because it's not a performance enhancing drug. And obviously the young girl, she came out and said her mom passed. So you figure it's something she used to cope. Hudson, what were you thinking when you saw the news broke that this young lady, that girl who was about to have a big moment for United States, doesn't get to compete? At first I was upset. I was frustrated. Then I read more on it and I thought about it. I'm like, these other countries don't want to see us win. These other countries don't want to, give us any advantage. They're not doing us any favors and say, oh, don't worry about it. We'll change the rule for her. But maybe they will change the rule down the line. And that's what I took away from it. She made a mistake. She made a huge mistake, right? She had to have known that was something that could happen, right? You know what's on the banned substance list, the same way you can't step into another runner's lane or you can't leave the blocks early. It's part of the rules. She made a mistake as a young person. She'll be back, but hopefully she is the one that creates change. Hopefully she's the one that gets the conversation started about, hey, there's performance enhancing drugs and then there's marijuana, and we can take marijuana off this list. Hudson Flynn, your thoughts?
I mean, it's strange that it's even on the list in the first place. I don't know of anyone who, got faster by smoking a blunt before a race or anything like that. But it's a shame, but obviously she did break the rule. I'm sure she knew she was breaking the rule. It's a sad time. It's a sad thing to happen to someone who is arguably the fastest woman in the world. Obviously love watching the U.S. represent on the world stage. Last week I said she was one of the people I was the most excited to watch in the Olympics. It's a shame, kind of a pretty rapid fall from grace. I know some of her old tweets have resurfaced and people aren't a fan of some of the things she said. It's kind of unfortunate, but look, we're the USA. We've got everybody. We've got so many people ready to go, ready to destroy everybody else in the Olympics that, as sad as this is, I'm still looking forward to watching all of our men and women bring home the gold. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, beyond just the basketball. Like we said, there's so many other sports, so many other things, and I'm looking forward to it. As sad as this is, I think that it's going to be a moment that'll spark change. I think it's going to be something that, everyone has their eyes on now, because it's like, why would that even be on the banned substance list in the first place? Even if people, it was still stigmatized, and it's becoming not. But at the end of the day, more people to watch, other people to see. I'm sad about it. It's unfortunate, but on to the next Olympian, I guess.
Yeah, and on to the next controversy. From one controversy to another. I know y'all saw all the talk around Maria Taylor and Rachel Nichols this week. And I mean, I was in the spaces last night. There was a spaces where Eddie Gonzalez, I think he hosted it with Kendrick Perkins, and I left right after Kendrick Perkins spoke on it. And it actually, like, I'm glad they did that because it gave some perspective. And you need perspective with everything in life. There's two sides to every story. There's two sides to the coin. Someone sees it one way, someone sees it the other. There's the truth, the lie, and everyone's gonna view these things differently. And from my vantage point, it's unfortunate that it kind of spilled out into the public like this. A conversation that took place a year ago, a private conversation. Even the fact that people are getting recorded now privately, which I understand recording conversations for business. I understand recording Zoom meetings. I understand recording, legal stuff. But it's weird when you see someone's words come out publicly that they were speaking off the record. They weren't speaking publicly. And then you get all this backlash and this uproar around it. So I guess we'll have the conversation on it, Hudson. What do you know about the story? What did you think when it broke? How do you feel about it now? Which way you want to go with this?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we could give a quick recap, right, for those who might have missed it, because it did only break yesterday on Monday. So Rachel Nichols, ESPN sideline reporter, I would say a fairly prominent woman in ESPN, gets recorded at the beginning of the pandemic when people were just learning out, how to use Zoom. She did not mute herself. She did not stop her recording, or at least that's what the big article that broke it, the New York Times article, said. And she said some fairly disparaging things about how Maria Taylor, another ESPN contributor, ended up in the position that she ended up in, right? And she mentioned that it might have been having to do with race, and that Rachel Nichols was skipped over because she did not fit the bill for what kind of person ESPN wanted to have in that role, specifically her being a white person. She said she was disadvantaged because ESPN wanted to put a minority hire in that position. And that all came out and that all broke. And I don't know, to me, it was like ESPN just keeps taking L's, and it kind of just shows the whackness of what ESPN is, right? Like they were at one point the thing that, and I'm sure it was the same for you, Keith, you're waking up before you go to school, 7:00, you turn on SportsCenter in the morning, you see, all the top plays from, last night after your parents made you go to bed and you missed them. You watch all of that, you enjoy that. And now it's kind of just fallen to all of these talking heads and all of this nonsense that's happening, on and off the screen. And to just hear this and to hear that, someone's talking about Maria Taylor like that, who I really admire, I really think is, does a great job. It's really just unfortunate, to be completely honest. And ESPN is floundering. It's not really the place that people go anymore. And it's not just because they have all these loud talking heads. It's because of things like this. And it's because of, everything kind of collapsing in on them. But I will say, if there is a silver lining to be taken from this whole situation, it is that ESPN and the Brooklyn Nets' very own Malika Andrews will be replacing Rachel Nichols as the sideline reporter for the finals. So good work, Malika. We love Malika. Keith got the great opportunity to meet Malika at a Nets game, making everybody jealous. So if there's anything to take away from this that's even a little bit positive, it's that Malika Andrews will be the ESPN sideline reporter for the NBA Finals. So I am really, really looking forward to seeing her on that stage. It's an opportunity that she has earned and that no one should take away from her.
Congrats to her. Congrats to Maria Taylor. Two women, two Black women. And I think the biggest thing that came from these conversations was just, pitting the two struggles against one another. And it just gets us nowhere. It's, there was some comments about the Me Too movement. And, Rachel Nichols kind of played into her struggles as a woman, and people called her out on that. I saw a TikTok this girl put out about her being related to Diane Sawyer, which I had no idea about. And I'm like, okay, that was your way in. Like, Diane Sawyer's your cousin or aunt or something. That's a big person to be connected to. ABC, Disney, ESPN. And then, Maria Taylor, you can't discredit her at all. She's a former athlete, a former basketball player. Makes perfect sense for her to be covering the NBA, and she crushes it. She's entertaining. And she's not just entertaining in the NBA lane. She has gone through the gauntlet of College Game Day and going to SEC schools and, being in that atmosphere. And she's crushed that every Saturday. Like, we've seen her do a bunch. And, I think we saw the clip of Jalen Rose saying that Maria needs a raise. And really what this all just unveils is the corporate structure, the white supremacy, the racism at places like ESPN. Well, exactly at ESPN, but there are also other places around the world and country that this type of stuff goes on, and it doesn't see the light of day. And I think that positive things can come from this. It sucks to see people put in these awkward situations. It sucks to see people have to apologize, especially, like I said, for something off the record. But it is what it is, man. Just be better. That's how I'll move on from this. Be better and, give people the right opportunities. Give people a fair shake based on their resume, the work that they've put in, and nothing else. Don't make it about this is a woman. Don't make it about this is a black woman. Don't make it about, we need to make up for mistakes we made in the past with our next moves, because that's another thing that came out of the chat last night with Kendrick Perkins, right? Kendrick Perkins was saying, and I missed Kendrick Perkins. I missed him on ESPN. I didn't catch what he said, but he basically let us know that it was promised to Rachel Nichols that she would do NBA Countdown and she would be the one covering the NBA Finals, and it was written in her contract. So when it got taken away from her, of course you're going to feel some type of way. Something that was promised to you, something that was written in your contract, something that's a huge look for you. Everybody knows ESPN is the worldwide leader. They are no longer the worldwide leader. A lot of leaders have emerged, but they are the worldwide leader in coverage. They might not be the worldwide leader in sports. It might not be where you go to get all your sports knowledge and info from. I mean, a lot of people are coming to Talkin Nets to hear about the NBA and the Nets, and we encourage that because we always talk about how they're going to spin the narratives with Jay Will, Stephen A. Smith, whoever it may be. But ESPN has a lot of issues, and they've kind of come to the light. All you got to do is be better and try and fix that stuff. And I know you guys watched the bubble last year and ESPN's coverage of the bubble. There was a lot of Black Lives Matter stuff. There was a lot of coverage on the riots, a lot of coverage on George Floyd. And, Eddie Gonzalez spoke about that. He used to work at ESPN doing social media for them. He had an inside look. And, a lot of this stuff is coming out. So all I hope is that, positive energy comes from it. Positive things come from it. More people get opportunities. And this type of stuff potentially can stop racism or sexism happening in the future. Hopefully the people use this as a learning experience. That's how I'm taking it. Like, hey, this is an example for everyone to learn from. Are decisions being made because of the right things, or are they being made for other things? So let's move on from that talk into the last thing that we got to talk about in this next, let's say, 8 minutes before we wrap. The NBA Finals. It is that magical time, but it's a little later now. NBA Finals starting a month later than usual, and with two small market teams in the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't have the history on how many times the Bucks have made it to the finals. It's been a while. I know the Suns, I think, were there with Charles Barkley in the 90s, maybe 93. So good for them. Applause. Because now all the talk is coming out about how, is there going to be an asterisk next to this season? Oh, if Giannis or Chris Paul win a ring this year, are they going to say, oh, well, this season didn't count. It was 72 games and everybody got hurt. We were on that talk 2 weeks ago. When the season ended for us, what did I tell you guys? Even last episode, I was like, I don't know how to word this, but they can have this season because we have Kevin Durant. And if he won the championship this year, they would have tried to spin the narrative and say, oh, everybody got hurt. Oh, if Kawhi wasn't hurt. Oh, if LeBron AD wasn't hurt. If this guy and that guy didn't get hurt. If Trey didn't get hurt. They try to devalue it. So let's start there, Hudson. What are you thinking about this 72-game season now coming to a finish? All of the injuries we saw because it was the shortest offseason ever. And now it comes down to Suns versus Bucks. Giannis is hurt in this series. The Suns have stayed pretty much healthy. What are you thinking about the injuries and how this championship will be looked at when it's all said and done real soon?
Look, I'm just going to discount the first thing that people are saying is that somehow this is the asterisk season and last season wasn't, or this and that and the other thing about where an asterisk should be put. No, as much as it sucks the Nets are out, the NBA champion this year is going to be the NBA champion, right? So that's one thing. But at the end of the day, right, you're going to have to deal with injuries. This year it sucked that there were more than normal. Obviously, you don't want to see a finals where certain teams' best players, and Giannis is the Bucks' best player, being off the court. You don't want, as much as I don't like the way he plays, I would rather him play than not play. I just want, at this point, an exciting finals that the Bucks are going, or that the Suns are going to win. But at the same time, you can't discredit any team that got there, right? Obviously, the Bucks kind of got lucky with the Nets, and we had a situation where the Suns kind of got lucky with the Clippers, in terms of injuries and Kawhi being out. But at the end of the day, they're there, and I'm just hoping and praying that there's going to be an exciting NBA Finals. I think the Suns are going to win in 6. I think, and I really do hope, that Chris Paul gets his ring. I think Devin Booker really is going to solidify himself as a top, at least 5 shooting guard in the entire NBA. And the Suns are a fun team, and this is the year of the small market, like we always talk about. And I think that they're the perfect small market to win the team. Nobody ever gave them any shot, any credit until really the playoffs. And here we are, ready to see them, hopefully, at least because I don't like the Bucks much, hold the trophy and see what they can do on this biggest stage. And then we can move aside and let the Nets move forward with what they're doing, because at the end of the day, whoever wins, I just want this season to be over and the offseason to begin, and the next season to begin, and the next season's playoffs to begin, and then the next season's finals to begin, because that's the only thing that matters as Nets fans. So I think the Suns are going to win in 6. I think they're going to earn it. They've deserved it. So let's see what happens. But at the end of the day, just waiting on the Nets season to start again, to be completely honest.
Yes, sir. You said it, bro. I'm over it. Like, I'm going to watch the game tonight, and luckily the Yankees are in Seattle, so they don't come on till 10, and the finals start at 7. Perfect. I'm going to watch because it's the finals. You get hyped for the finals. Every year, there's a different energy in the NBA finals. And, last year in the bubble, it wasn't the same without the fans. Now we have full capacity arenas. And I think I was watching Undisputed, and they said Lil Wayne will be in the building tonight. So I'm always hyped for that. It's always crazy on Twitter. Everybody's tweeting about the finals. I saw a tweet about this is the first time in 15 years that the NBA Finals will not feature Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, or Steph Curry. And I was like, it made you think, like, wow, pretty much, we've seen the same guys in the finals. One of those superstar guys has gotten there, gotten to the finish line every year. And now, we're looking at CP3, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton versus Giannis. I don't know. I think Giannis will play. I think Giannis will play one of these games and try and go and see how it goes. It might go bad, but you got Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and our guy, Belo. Some of you Nets fans got weird energy around Belo. I don't know how you're not happy for Brook Lopez. I don't know how you're not rooting for Brook Lopez. Even though the Bucks beat us, yes, to see Brook Lopez get to the finals at this point in his career and be a factor, I love that as a Nets fan.
Like, the Nets traded him away. It's not like he left us in free agency. It's not like we weren't good enough for him. We traded him away. He's the franchise's all-time leader in points, right? Like, give our guy, Brooklyn Brook, some respect. That's even what they call him out in Milwaukee. And as much as it sucks that he beat us, look, we're Nets fans. We're not exactly a franchise that's used to winning NBA Finals. So when there is a story that we can cling on to and hope for, I think we should. And I think that even if the Bucks win, which I don't want them to, we will at least be able to say, good for Brooklyn Brook.
Yeah, good for Brooklyn Brook. I don't think the Bucks are winning it, but at least he'll be able to say he got to a finals. And in the game to end the Eastern Conference Finals, he balled out. So, like, good for Brook Lopez. I have no type of weird energy against him. Some people say they hate him, or some people hate. Like, I don't know how you watch the Nets and watch Brook Lopez on some of those trash New Jersey Nets teams and then come over here into Brooklyn and help us build the culture in Brooklyn that we all love now. Like, he was our best player, like as a New Jersey Net and Brooklyn Net. I'm happy for Brook Lopez. Like Hudson said, it's not like he abandoned us. We traded him away, and look where he's at. He's got the last laugh. What else from this series? The Suns. Let's talk about the Suns for a minute. Monty Williams. Love it for him. CP3. I really hope CP3 gets his ring now. I think this is his only shot. I don't think the Suns will be back next year. The Suns we saw in the bubble last year, they went on a run. I think they won like 8 games in a row, almost made the play-in, but came up short. You kind of knew going into this season, once they made that move to get CP3, you knew that like they were going to be competitors. And not only competitors, they were a consistent high seed in the West, won a lot of games in the West, and now they're at the finish line. DeAndre Ayton, I saw a stat about him being the fastest #1 overall pick to get to a finals. Would love for him to get his ring and just, be able to stand on that. I was a #1 overall pick, and I don't know, 3 years later, I'm an NBA champion. And there's a bunch of other stories.
People are giving him hate too because he's not, Luka or Trey. So it's another good storyline, right? People are saying, "Oh, what a miss! What a bust of a pick!" Nah,
no way. No way. They drafted for a need. They at the time they didn't feel like they needed those guys. They felt like they needed a big, and he's been great. And he's got a signature moment in the Western Conference Final. People just say anything, bro. That's another thing. Like now that we're out of the season and we get to fall back a little bit more and just read NBA Twitter, and we're not as active on our own Twitters talking about the NBA or Talkin Nets Twitter, you get to see like our mentions have a lot of goofy ass takes and people that even like bookmark our stuff and come back and just say anything. Like the threads get ridiculous, but I'm rooting for the Suns. What do you got? I got Suns in 6, maybe even 5. I think if Giannis plays one of those games in Milwaukee, like it'll give him a little bit of a jolt and a different look. But I got Suns in 6.
I think Suns in 6 as well. I think that they win at least one of the games at home without a doubt. I think they have to, just because it's Milwaukee, and we saw in the Nets series they do get loud. They do support their guys. It's going to make a difference. But no, I have the Suns winning it. And I'm happy for the Suns. I really hope they do win it because they're really a team that I have absolutely no animosity towards. They're a team with a lot of good people, a lot of good players that you can root for. Obviously, a coach that a lot of people are rooting for. And I think Lil Wayne is rocking with them, and I love Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne's definitely rocking with them. And I mentioned they have guys with great stories. Jamison Crowder, Cam Payne, Mikal Bridges. Like they have guys on that team that have great stories, and I would love to see them get a ring too. Throw Cam Johnson in there. Like, this collection of guys that they put together in Phoenix, for them to win it, it would be great. In the post-pandemic 2021 season that we rushed together, the Suns were able to be a good team from start to finish and hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end. I think it'd be great. Now, on the converse, there's good stories too with the Bucks. I mean, Mike Budenholzer, this was his last opportunity, right? They were saying his seat was hot. When the Bucks went down 2-0 to us, people were looking at him like, they're going to collapse. They're going to fail again because historically the Bucks have failed. But you know what? This time the Bucks have gotten to the finals. Giannis has spoken a lot about wanting to be a champion. His brother Thanasis, right? There was a video of, him talking to his brother like, damn, this must be what it feels like to be a champion. Now Giannis gets a chance to compete in the finals. CP3 gets to his first finals. Who else? PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker is another guy. Even though we hated him as Nets fans watching him play and dog KD and foul KD, he's got a great story. Drew Holiday, right? Drew Holiday was in New Orleans. They go out and get him. And in his first season in Milwaukee, it's the right fit, the right team. He gets to the finals. So we'll see what happens with these guys. Bobby Portis, like you can go on. There's storylines no matter who makes it to the finals. I got Suns in 6. We'll be back next week to talk about what happens. I'll definitely be watching the game tonight. I'm not hurt anymore. The pain has gone away. I've accepted it, and I can definitely watch some NBA basketball, especially the finals. It's a championship. I don't know what the ratings are going to be like. Obviously, small market teams.
Oh, we're doing ratings talk again, Keith.
Of course, because some people are going to, they said the NBA went woke and they went broke and they tried to twist the whole bubble narrative. But the ratings have been good throughout the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be as grandiose as they could have been because of the teams and the players. But I hope for good Nielsen ratings or whatever. It doesn't really matter. All right, let's wrap this thing up. We got one review to read, and then we'll get out. No voicemails, but feel free to call.
Whoa. Don't forget, Keith, we have Nets news. We have K-Love news.
Oh, I did forget. this is the only thing that we had in the notes to talk about that was kind of Nets, and I did tell someone to tune in and we'd speak on it. Kevin Love, you guys have seen this guy in Brooklyn for like the last 4 years. You've seen him in New York. And I don't know, Hudson, I'll let you take this one away. It doesn't move the needle for me. Of course, Kevin Love would want to join this team. Who wouldn't want to join this team, especially if you have a place in Brooklyn already? I think we'd check it out. I think we'd explore. But what do you think about Kevin Love potentially being a Brooklyn Net next season?
I mean, look, we got Blake Griffin, and this feels almost like a similar thing, right? This is another guy, obviously a little past his prime. We don't know exactly what we're going to get, but if he plays his role, he can be really, really effective. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you don't know what K Love is you're going to get, and we won't know that until the Nets season is really started and really going. If we do end up getting him, why wouldn't he want to play in Brooklyn, right? Just like Keith said, Brooklyn is the place to be. He loves Brooklyn already, and now he has some of his friends on the team. He is known for being a good leader in the locker room. I know him and Kyrie have connected a lot on the mental health stuff, and it's just good, good to see. At least there is some Nets news to talk about, to think about. And if he gets bought out and we get him on a cheap deal, a veteran minimum, Blake Griffin type deal, he's not going to hurt. He's certainly not going to hurt. I prefer him to, no offense to him, but to an Alize Johnson type, or to, whoever we get in the draft, or Reggie Perry type, right? Because at least you know what you're going to get. And he's a player that's been there, done that, won a ring. And look, if we get him, then we get him. And that's probably a benefit, but it's not going to be anything that really moves the needle. It's not going to be a game-breaking signing. It's not going to be anything like that, but it might be good. Seems to me low risk, medium reward. Why not at least give him a look?
Yeah, I think we definitely give him a look, and some other guys a look. And I think this team gets younger, but I also would like to see, veteran experience and leadership on this team as well. We have it, obviously, with our big three, but another veteran doesn't hurt. You saw veterans like Jeff Green step up this year. You saw veterans like Blake Griffin step up this year when we needed them most. So another veteran can't hurt. But that's all we've got. And it is time to read the review and close this thing out. One review from Herbals. I'll leave it at that because it's spelled a certain way where you could read that differently. Tuesday, Herbals writes, great listen, 5 stars. Sorry we fell short this year, boys, but we're coming back with a vengeance next season. Love the positivity. Keep it up. Hey, we appreciate the review. We're on the road to 200 reviews before the Nets tip off the next season in late October. Help us get there. If you enjoy the show, if you enjoy what Hudson and I do, help make us look good out there and write a review. Subscribe to the pod. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Call the voicemail if you like. It's 201-870-0461. Follow us at Talkin Nets on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube as well. And that's all we've got. Hudson Flynn, any last words? Anything you want to say before we close out and come back next week?
Catch us next time. Enjoy your summer. Have a good couple of days. Hopefully you had a good holiday weekend, but we're back to talking Nets. We're back to talking basketball. So stick with us.
Talking Nets. Let's go Nets. Let's go Nets. Brooklyn. And that's the show. 36 minutes.
Cool, solid. Cool. Solid. I got lucky too. There was a lawnmower going back and forth behind me, and you gave me my cues. You had some type of, some subconscious knowledge of when to put me in, and it managed to be every time without too much noise in the background. So I'm glad about that.
Sometimes I just feel it in the universe and know what to do, but I can't take credit for that one. That was luck. All right, y'all. We out of here. We'll see you next Tuesday into Wednesday. Appreciate the support. Talk soon.